if you, as a stranger, walked in the barn, the sheep would be out the door 5 minutes, before you even showed up. Our sheep are socialized, and part of our really extension of our teaching team, Saints. They don't care. I swear they look at us walking in and they go, "Oh, some more humans." It's no big deal. But we will go in and engage in activities with the baby lambs. We'll hold them up if they're really young, or we'll give them to the kids to hold. It's a wonderful experience.
Now, Mary, of course, I want to ask you about Spring Fling in a minute, but you're saying that people come to Zeeland from all over Michigan. Where exactly is Zeeland compared to Grand Rapids, and then where are you drawing people from?
Sure. It's about 25 minutes west toward Lake Michigan, and people will actually take the Holland exit 52, and hang a left 1 mile. So it's very easy, and they can find our address on our website, Google it. It's real accessible. But we're closer to the lake, so if you're doing a Grand Rapids venue, kind of touring around Grand Rapids, you can swing out to the lakeside. There's a lot to see over there as well. But a little time at the farm. It's just 25 minutes down the road, and very easy to get to.
And folks from all over are coming in.
We attract people from Chicago, from Indianapolis, all over Michigan. We see people readily from Ohio. We have maps up in the barn where folks stick their pins in, if they're a new location. It's amazing to see the reach. And I think a lot of people are just drawn to West Michigan because it's such a great place to visit anyway. But we're very happy. West Michigan Tourist Association, of course, helps us get noticed. And we do the same with our local chamber, but we're very delighted that when people search for things to do with family, that they find us, because we're very family orientated. We're pretty accessible. If you have a child or a member of your family that's in a wheelchair or is using a walker, we're very accessible, very mindful of that. And we have a friendly staff, volunteers that will help, even if you're just browsing around the farm.
Well, one thing we should mention, as much as we talk about that you're family friendly, and it is, the little kids go absolutely crazy over this, but it's for everyone. It really is all ages.
It is, and it warms my heart. I'll walk up to a young couple and I'll say, "So, are you here with your kids?" "No, just the two of us." And they're in their 20s, and I love it. And I go, "That means you must really be animal lovers." "Oh, yeah, love a farm. He grew up on a farm. He just misses it, yada, yada." So we find a lot of young adults, and we work with a lot of colleges, Baker, Grand Valley, and Hope College. And they bring their vet tech students or pre-vet students to our farm because it's hard to find places where you can interact with animals. So we really have a good reach, and we see a lot of folks. We had a lady that was 99 at our farm just a couple months ago. All ages. We work with all ages.
I love that. Well, I feel the need to hold some small baby lambs and bunnies in my arms in order to rectify the fact that I may eat them later. But your place is truly, it is a gift to West Michigan, and it's just a gem of a spot to visit.
Oh, thank you. We've been doing this for 28 years, and I think we've got it down. We've grown quite a bit. We apologize for the parking. We have new properties, and that's another story, but we are in a capital campaign to move so that we have a safer place for folks and real bathrooms and some heated space and good parking. But for right now, I just would like to focus on folks coming again this spring to our Spring Fling event, which is during the West Michigan's traditional spring vacation time. So it's April 2 to 7, and we'll be open extra long each day from 10 until 7, and at 11 and at 1 and 3 and 5, there's some baby goats that are going to need bottles. So
I love it. Well, Mary, if people want to get more information about the Critter Barn, where do they go?
Website is a good place to start, and we also have a Facebook page, but critterbarn.org, or check us out Facebook, and I know my staff posts on Instagram. They can find us just about anywhere.
I love it. Lots of great information. Check out the Critter Barn in Zeeland. All right, coming up next, John, we're going to learn more about things you can do in Grand Rapids, so stay tuned to Behind the Mitten.
Hi, this is Mary Rottschafer from the Critter Barn in Zeeland, and we'd love for you to come out and visit all of our baby animals this spring. A lot of hands-on fun for people of all ages. Our website is critterbarn.org, and you are listening to Behind the Mitten.
And welcome back to Behind the Mitten. John Gonzalez along with Amy Sherman, having a great time in Grand Rapids. And Amy, what a cool guest that we had on just a little earlier today.
Yeah, Mary Rottschafer from the Critter Barn. These guys are open year-round, but spring is really a great time to go visit. They have all the little baby animals that you can hold and snuggle and learn about in a safe environment. And what a great model they have, because there really is no fee if you come as the public.
Yeah, one thing we didn't ask her was about the fee, and we were talking to her off the air, and she almost got emotional talking about it.
Yeah, it's really important to her to give back to the community and to provide a safe, nurturing environment for people to come and learn about animals, how to take care of them. And so there you can go and you can donate if you want, and that's awesome and fantastic. But if you can't donate, you are still welcome to come and experience the Critter Barn in Zeeland.
I love how she told a story about some mamas will walk in bringing their kids, and they only have $5, and they ask for change, and they donate a couple bucks, and because they need the money, and she's fine with that.
Yep, and then other families come in, and because they can afford it, they might drop $100 in the basket, so that other people can enjoy everything they have to offer at the Critter Barn. So if you want to get more information about what a really, truly a unique place to visit in Zeeland, just outside of Grand Rapids, go to critterbarn.org.
All right, so we have a next guest here that we know very well.
We do.
Because earlier this year we had such a good time visiting this museum in Grand Rapids that we thought, why don't we come here more often? Because they have a pretty cool whale, too.
They have a great whale that's named Finny. just like my son, right, Kate Moore?
Correct.
Well, Kate Moore from the Grand Rapids Public Museum. We had a great time when we recorded the show with you earlier this year about some of the things you had going on. But spring break is a time that you guys are really known for shining and having great events for kids, really of all ages.
Well, thank you so much, and thanks for having me back again. I'm really excited to be here. And spring break is a crazy time at the Grand Rapids Public Museum, but we love it. And it's hard to believe that we're talking about it coming up so soon.
Right.
But we have a lot of fun stuff planned for all ages. Like you said, we have our Dragons, Unicorns, and Mermaids exhibit, which is still there through the end of May. So
it is a really cool exhibit. If you're at all into any of
you.
that fantasy kind of stuff, it really is fascinating.
Thank you, for sure. And if you haven't seen that yet, again, it is fabulous. There's lots of hands-on elements within the exhibition, and then, of course, learning about mythical creatures and how real tales inspired those.
I love that. So in addition to that traveling exhibit that's happening, you also have plenty of permanent exhibits that people can experience any time of the year, but spring break is a great time to come check it out.
Absolutely. During spring break, we will have extended hours. That week of April 2nd through the 6th will be open from 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. And we'll have more planetarium shows during that time. It'll be a lot of fun. So if you haven't been to the planetarium since we redid it, it's a great time to come back and check out some shows, from educational shows for kids, as well as our Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon show.
Oh, yeah. Late night, baby.
We're talking about, Amy, about just what it is to come down to downtown Grand Rapids. Maybe get downtown and walk to the different places. You can walk to City Built, but you can also walk to the Public Museum because it's a great place.
It's all right along the river, which the Public Museum is one of the anchors of the downtown area. It's on the west side of the river. You can, of course, see the beautiful, if you've never been here before, they have this awesome carousel that extends out over the river. It's very noticeable, but you could start your visit at the Public Museum and then continue up the river, do the river walk, and end up at City Built. And it would only be a few blocks. It's really not that far.
It's not that far at all. And one of the things that we didn't cover, I think we touched upon it, is this interactive exhibit you have with Finny.
Yes, we just opened
the whale,
this in
not
December.
my son.
Yeah, noted. We just opened this in December, and this has two great components to it. One are touch screens to allow you to learn a little bit more about the whale. In the past, we didn't have much information out about the fin whale itself, the skeleton.
How big is that whale again?
It is 76 feet long.
Wow.
And we should, for people who haven't been there, I think we talk about it like it's our old friend, because it kind of is, because it is such a backbone to the museum. But when you go into the Grand Rapids Public Museum, it is literally one of the first things you see, because it's hung from the ceiling of the main gallery.
And you can see it from walking outside as well. And it is one of those things that really takes your breath away when you walk in. That and the carousel are probably our two biggest icons that we're known for in the community.
Yeah, no, and I think, too, in addition to that, too, you learn the history of Grand Rapids, because it went from Furniture City to Beer City, right?
Yeah.
And you learn all that history of why it was Furniture City.
Absolutely. You learn all of that, and you're right there on the banks of the river, which you can learn about logging and the furniture industry through that. It's really an all-encompassing experience.
Yeah, lots of things to do there. I always love to just go and wander and kind of see what's kind of either new or revisit some of the old favorite exhibits, which sometimes crack me up because my husband used to work there, so I'm always like, oh, this one's been here for a while. But it's an old favorite, and you always pick out something new out of it.
Oh, for sure. And we're always adding new things into the older core exhibits as well, like the Streets of Old Grand Rapids. We have our volunteers that are in there really bringing the streets to life, our West Michigan habitats, where we have some interactive components added into that. And special for spring break, we will have more volunteers throughout the spaces to be able to interact with guests and have hands-on activities through discovery carts. We'll have hands-on craft activities for kids going on that are all free with general admission.
Well, that was one of the things that I liked about spring break, is that you had these extra kind of things that maybe weren't normally being offered, and which makes it worth a visit. Tell us about a little bit some of those hands-on activities.
Sure. So tied to the Dragons, Unicorns, and Mermaids exhibit, we'll have 2 activities where you can make puppets related to the exhibit, all themed around dragons, unicorns, and mermaids.
Or you can make a unicorn puppet. John, we could make a unicorn puppet.
We should do
You're going to have to. Or a Chinese dragon. You can make one of those, too. We do have a series of big games that we bring out during the summertime. And
I've seen those before. You have like giant Connect 4.
We do.
Right?
We'll bring those out, and we have Kiva blocks. We'll be doing some challenges with Kiva block building, and we'll have our watershed lab open during the time.
What is that?
That is a lab that's on the 3rd floor of the museum, where we have an interactive sand table where you can build.
Man, kids love that.
Water table. So we'll have volunteers staffed within that space as well, and you can check our website for times for that.
And one of the things that being a longtime resident here that I learned is that the museum wasn't always at that location, right?
Right.
And it was off of Jefferson, is that right?
That's correct.
And at this old location, you can actually set up visits, right? Like schedule them?
Yes.
Tell us more about that location real quick.
So that location at 54 Jefferson, it was there from I'm not going to get my dates exactly correct, but like late 30s, early 40s to 1994 when the museum moved to the current Van Andel Museum Center. And that location is actually being turned into the Grand Rapids Public Museum High School right now. So next fall it'll be a high school, but really foundation of education for us, and you were able to go there and schedule tours throughout the space, and we've really tried to emulate that in the new space at the Van Andel Museum Center through the help of interpreters and interactive volunteers.
Because I think what people don't realize with most museums, and you guys are included, is that you have what percentage of your exhibits or collections on display at the actual museum?
It's about 5% at any given time.
5%.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, so we have 250,000 artifacts in the collection, and most of those are housed, actually connected to that 54 Jefferson building in a building we call CARC. Which is Collections Archive and Research Center. And that space is available for tours, and we do bring school groups into there quite often. And we also host an event called Collections and Cocktails every spring where we focus on a piece of the collection. This year it's transportation, and people can see collections that aren't normally out on display during that event.
I love that. When is that event?
That's May 2nd, and that's a fundraiser for the museum. Just started it last year, and it's really beginning to take hold.
That is truly a behind the mitten event, because you're going behind the scenes at the Grand Rapids Public Museum.
Absolutely.
You get some cocktails.
You get some cocktails and maybe a beer of the week. I mean, who knew, right? But honestly, I find that fascinating, because when you only see this little snippet, and the other thing you realize is that there are people in West Michigan that collect everything.
Oh my gosh, yeah. We have collections from all over the world. You know, a lot of people see what's at the Van Andel Museum Center. It's very focused on West Michigan, but we have things from all over the world that people from West Michigan have donated to the museum. So they still have that West Michigan tie, which is really special.
You get contacted almost every day, right? Saying like, hey, my dad left this collection behind. Do you want it, right?
Absolutely. And we have a whole process to go through all of that.
I know, but it's really interesting. And then some of the collections, you're like, who spent their whole life collecting this? Like, it's kind of fascinating.
Really
it's like
unique.
A little, slice of psyche.
Absolutely.
Very cool. Where can people get more information about the museum if they want to come for spring break or anytime?
Sure, grpm.org. And we do have online tickets available for during that spring break time. So if you purchase your ticket ahead of time online, you can skip the line.
Hey, that's a smart move. I love it. Kate Moore from the Grand Rapids Public Museum. Thanks for sharing everything on Behind the Mitten. We appreciate it. All right, coming up next, John, guess what? It's time for Beer of the Week from City Built Brewing Company in Grand Rapids. Stay tuned to Behind the Mitten.
I'm Kate Moore with the Grand Rapids Public Museum. You can find more information at grpm.org, and you're listening to Behind the Mitten.
And welcome back to Behind the Mitten. John Gonzalez along with Amy Sherman having a great time here at City Built Brewing in Grand Rapids. Kind of your spring break episode of Behind the Mitten, right, Amy?
It is. All great things that you can do around the Grand Rapids area. We have to thank our last guest, Kate, from the Grand Rapids Public Museum. They always have really cool things that you can do year-round, but especially